Listen, let's go on site. It's time to go there. Presented by Miller Lite. We're going to start nearby at the Meadowlands where the Giants are hosting the Seahawks. Craig James is live with the latest on this interconference tilt. Hello there, Craig.
Jimbo, Merry Christmas and Happy Holidays to you and all the guys there. Beautiful weather here in the Meadowlands. No real key injuries to talk about. A must-win for both teams. The New York Giants season's been average, but not Michael Strahan. 17 sacks on the season, which leads the league. He's chasing the record held by Mark Gastineau back in 1984 with 22. This is a simple approach in this ballgame. The Seattle Seahawks are going to give the football to Sean Alexander. He's going to run the football. So that sets up a key matchup, which is strength versus strength, 6 versus 7. Can the Giants defense stand up to Sean Alexander? Not real windy here in the Meadowlands, which it usually is in the month of December. So don't be surprised if you see some passing take place here. Now let's go out to Don Criqui in Kansas City.
Once again, it's the Chiefs and the Chargers at Kansas City. Bitter cold has come to KC, where the Chiefs, after a 1-6 start, are a rising team. Runner Priest Holmes leads the NFL in rushing. He ripped the Chargers for 181 yards last month, the most ever given up by a Charger defense to an opposing runner. San Diego's in the throes of a 7-game losing streak. Compounding matters, Arrowhead has not been kind. The Chargers have been routed here 4 straight years by a combined score of 130-20. If Doug Flutie's interception problems continue, we could see rookie Drew Brees. Wide receiver Jeff Graham won't play because of the death of his father. Now to Solomon Wilcots in Baltimore.
Welcome to PSI Net Stadium, where last week the Pittsburgh Steelers helped usher in the Ravens' winter of discontent. Pittsburgh rode through the Ravens' defense, racking up 476 total yards while holding the ball for an impressive 41 minutes. But help is expected to come with the return of defensive tackle Sam Adams, who's missed the last 2 weeks with a knee injury, while defensive tackle Tony Saragusa is a game-time decision and probably will not play. The Bengals will start quarterback John Kitna, who has an injury to that middle finger on his throwing hand, but he's going to have to play better today than he did last week against the New York Jets. Now let's send it out to Gus Johnson in Minnesota.
All right, from the Metrodome, happy holidays, where it's the Jaguars visiting the Vikings today. Minnesota quarterback Todd Bouwman told us despite the sprained ligaments in his right hand, he actually throws the deep balls better than the short pass. As expected, he will start for the 3rd straight game in place of the injured Dante Culpepper. This also could be the last game in Minneapolis for Chris Carter. The 36-year-old, who's number 2 all-time in receptions to Jerry Rice, told us Jerry's done a lot of things that he emulates in his career. So Carter may prefer changing teams rather than his earlier announcement of retirement. Indeed, it's been a tough year for everybody here in the Twin Cities. Now let's go to Atlanta and Trevor Maddox.
It's raining outside in Atlanta, but perfect inside the Georgia Dome as the Falcons try to keep their playoff hopes alive against Buffalo. They'll have to do it without their starting defensive end, Brady Smith, and fullback Bob Christian strained his calf in practice last week. He will play, but he'll be limited. For Buffalo, their starting tailback Travis Henry will miss this week's game. Lawyer Malloy of the Patriots fell on his knee and sprained it last week, and that's a big loss for the Bills. He has been the workhorse. Sean Bryson, his former University of Tennessee teammate, will try to pick up the slack today. That's the story from here. Let's go back to Jim Nantz in New York.
All right, well, thank you, Trevor, for that story. Coming up later in today's doubleheader game here on CBS, everyone in America will see Cleveland taking on Green Bay out in Lambeau Field, where the tundra should be nice and frozen today. The United States Postal Service delivers today's top performers. Upper right corner of your screen, here are the players you might want to consider starting. They may have big days, or you may not want to. We'll also list the ones who could struggle. Bottom of your screen, all the pertinent game information. We're going to begin with Seattle against the Giants. And Mike, I want to remind you that it's not impossible for the Giants to win that NFC East with that Eagles loss yesterday. If they can win this one against Seattle, next week they take on the Eagles. A win there could come down to the last week of the season.
Come on.
They could beat the Eagles head-to-head. The last week of the season, Philadelphia plays at Tampa, and the Giants are at home against Green Bay. Go ahead, Mike.
Dips and butts for candies and nuts. We'd have a Merry Christmas. Sean Alexander will end that today. They're going to rush the ball down the Giants.
The NFL Today is presented by Southwest Airlines, proud sponsor of the NFL and official airline of Super Bowl 36.
The Giants being introduced, they'll host Seattle, and barring a Super Bowl appearance by the Seahawks, the next time they play an NFC team after today, they will be in that conference next year. They'll make the shift over. Mike, some last thoughts, Seattle Giants.
Well, my only thought is one thing. I think Seattle's going to win the game for one reason. I think they're going to run Sean Alexander and be very successful in controlling the clock.
Everyone wants to know why the Giants have been so disappointing this year. To me, it's the defense has not played up to snuff. And Kerry Collins has been unseen since that Minnesota playoff game last year.
Well, I think you go right back what you're saying. Who has the best quarterback? Has Hasselbeck grown enough to be better than Kerry?
All right. For those of you scheduled to see only the Browns-Packers game at 4 p.m. Eastern, we're back in just a moment. But for most of you, it is game time on the NFL Today. Enjoy it all right here on CBS, and happy holidays to you and yours. Thanks for being with us, everybody. Have a great day.
Both the Seattle Seahawks and the New York Giants are in the playoff hunt, which sets up an important game today here at Giant Stadium. Hi, everyone. Happy holidays. Kevin Harlan alongside Craig James. How do you assess the matchup this afternoon?
Well, we can talk about Tiki Barber and Sean Alexander, all the glamour guys. That'd be real easy. But we've got to talk about the New York Giants offensive line. That's what this game comes down to. Chad Eaton, the defensive tackle of the Seahawks, analyzed the Giants and said, hey, look, their two guards in New York are physical. The other three guys are finesse football players. The Giants offensive line today, it's all on their back if they're going to be Santa Claus.
And can a line change their offense from power to finesse in one game?
No way. This isn't like a light switch. You can't just turn it on. They're going to have to get after it.
If you're on a nostalgia kick, so is 60 Minutes, and no one has more of it or does it better than they do. Starting tonight with Muhammad Ali.
Joe Mantegna, James Garner. First Monday, a new series premiering January 15th.
Sports welcomes you to the following presentation of the National Football League.
This is the respect game. You got to go earn it. They ain't going to give it to you because we did it last year. You got to do it again.
Last year at this time, Big Blue was preparing for a playoff run that would capture the NFC Championship. Today, a must-win game to keep the hopes alive to defend their title. Mike Holmgren is pointing his young Seattle team to the playoffs. A loss today would end those dreams. Who will keep their playoff hopes alive? The Seahawks and the Giants are alive, yet Craig James on the outside looking into the playoff picture.
Well, the New York Giants, they're capable of winning out, no question about it. But on the same hand, Kevin, they're capable of losing out. In the AFC, Seattle's trying to build. They lost 4 of their last 5 road games. This is a team that must learn how to win in the month of December in these type games.
The Seahawks and Giants next.
Subway presents Fresh Starts, a tribute to the emerging teams and players making the unexpected happen. Subway, eat fresh. Head coach Marty Morningweg's Lions finally earned their first victory of the season, thanks in part to rookie quarterback Mike McMahon, who accounted for 316 yards in the 27-24 Week 14 win over the Vikings. The Steelers clinched the AFC Central title with stellar performances from quarterback Cordell Stewart and receiver Plexico Boris in a 26-21 victory over the Ravens.
His name is Henry, Clay Henry. He's a fireman and a Jared fan from Subway. He got real big on burgers and fries. Now he's down to a smaller size. Gets his might from his Veggie Delight. Great taste each day from his local Subway. He's Henry, Clay Henry.
With the help of exercise and the great taste of Subway's 7 sandwiches with just 6 grams of fat or less, people like Clay Henry are inspirations for everyone to follow.
Subway, eat fresh.
Great day for football here in the Meadowlands. Downstairs we go to Beasley Reese.
All right, thanks a lot, Kevin. Now, first of all, this is generally considered the worst surface in the National Football League. Now that I got that straight, welcome to playoff football. Now, the Giants got a major Christmas present yesterday when the Eagles lost to San Francisco. With that loss, here's the deal. The Giants can win the division. They can win a wild card or go home and be out. What a wild season for Seattle. They have to win and pray. Back to you, Kevin.
And thank you, Beasley. That's what both these teams want, to still be involved this late in the year.
Yeah, speaking with the Giants players on the field before the game, they were really talking about that. Very excited about Santa Claus's early present to them yesterday.
Charlie Rogers is inside the 5. Owen Poxman has it teed up at the 30. The Giants and Seahawks, and here we go from Rockin' Giant Stadium. From the 7-yard line, Charlie Rogers with the block from Kerry Joseph, and then thrown out of bounds by Dave Thomas near the 35-yard line. And so we get our first look at the young quarterback who the Seattle Seahawks traded for from Green Bay, Matt Hasselbeck, whose dad used to play for the New York Giants.
Yeah, we've had this team a few times, and each week that we talk or see them, you see that they are finally starting to open it up. This is going to be a game where the few times he gets a chance to throw it, he has to hit the open receiver.
He begins at his own 35-yard line, first down and 10. Sean Alexander in the backfield, and Hasselbeck right to work, and it's Corin Robinson with the good move outside on Williams and gets close to a first down. In fact, nudging his way by the 45 and close to a gain of 10. Robinson with his 34th reception of the season on the line. Walter Jones, Hutchinson, Robbie Tobeck, Chris Gray, and Todd Weiner. And in the backfield, they've got Alexander taking the place of the injured Ricky Waters with Max Strong, Jackson and Robinson the receivers, and Christian Fourier is the tight end. He did get a first down, nudging it by the 45. Hasselbeck again to the air. On the money, thrown to Itulu Mealy, who is a backup tight end, and brought down by Cornelius Griffin. Out near the 50-yard line, a gain of about 3 yards on the play. This Giants defense, the same guys as a year ago, but not nearly the foundation they provided in their Super Bowl season. Strahan, Griffin, Hamilton, and Holmes. Linebackers, all great games last week. Short, Barrow, and Armstead. And in the secondary, the corners, Allen, a rookie, and Sehorn. In the middle, Williams and Sandbarnes. It's second down and 7, and it goes to Alexander with the great stop by Michael Strahan for no gain on the play. It'll be third down.
A lot of people talk about Michael Strahan being a candidate for the NFL Defensive Player of the Year. Not surprised at all with that. But what really is good is when you see what he does against the run. Hey, everybody talks about his guys' pass rushing techniques. Look at him get down, hit, knocked down to the ground, comes up and pulls on Sean Alexander. That kind of athletic ability is what makes him so dangerous to defend.
And what a great combination of power and quickness.
Did you see how big his calves were? And I mean, his calves are as big as most people's shoulders and upper torso. It's huge.
48-yard line, third down and 7. Hasselbeck with the pocket crumbling, throws down the middle, incomplete as it whistles over the head of intended receiver Darrell Jackson. So the Seahawks have to punt on 4th and 7 on their first offensive possession today.
That's what I'm talking about early on. Hasselbeck has to hit Darrell Jackson on that play. It's there for him, and that's the frustration level that this entire team has. It's that building curve. They're up and down. One series is good, one series is bad. He's got to set his feet and be confident and let the ball go.
Here's Jeff Fiegels to punt and sends it down to Tiki Barber, who backpedals to about the 7-yard line. Grabbed and taken down by Fabian Bones, who is a demon on special teams. A 44-yard punt, a 2-yard return. We'll get a look at Kerry Collins and the Giants when we come back to the Meadowlands. Seattle punts the first time they have the ball, so the Giants begin at 1st and 10 with Kerry Collins at their 10. Right, Camilla, the fullback, is on the move. A good block by Tiki Barber and a pass on the money to the tight end, Dan Campbell, moving it up to the 26-yard line. It's a gain of 17 yards with Kerry Collins right on the money and a first down for the New York Giants.
That's exactly what Jim Fossil's looking for out of his quarterback. They're trying to build off that final game-winning drive last week so that Collins comes in and has confidence. And we're going to talk today a whole lot about his mechanics, and we're going to teach you and show you some things that Jim Fossil's working with on Kerry Collins.
One of 4 NFL quarterbacks to take every snap for his team this year from the 26, 1st and 10. Outside it goes. Tiki Barber banged out of bounds by Chad Brown. And he is near the 30-yard line on a gain of 5. It'll be second down and 5 on the line, which Craig told you about. Some guys strong guys, some guys finesse guys. Brown, Parker, Ziegler, Stone, and Pettigrew. In the backfield, you'll see some Ron Dane, but Tiki Barber is the star with Camelo the blocking back, Toomer and Hilliard the wide receivers, and Howard Cross is the tight end.
Yeah, the Seattle Seahawks are expecting a lot of running to the right side of the Giants today.
From the 31, second down and 5. Ron Dane is in and moves the ball up for a gain of 2 to the 33-yard line. Michael Sinclair and a host of others in there. Levon Kirkland, John Randall for Seattle's defense, which comes in number 15 in the NFL. Sinclair, Eaton Randall, and John Hilliard on the defensive line. Linebackers, a strength. Simmons, a great one with Levon Kirkland and Chad Brown. And in the revamped secondary, Ike Charlton starts today on one corner, Williams on the other. Robertson and Reggie Tongue, the hard-hitting Seattle safeties. Third down and 3 from the 33. Dane remains in the game. Collins sprints from the pocket, a block from Pettigrew, and time to throw down the sideline, incomplete. No one was there. Toomer was at about the 37. A flag is down at the 31. Ron Winter is our referee here today on an absolutely perfect afternoon for football, a trip, and it's on the New York Giants, which I'm sure they'll decline and punt.
Tripping, number 52, offense. Penalties decline. Makes it 4th down.
Jim Fossil took this team to a Super Bowl a season ago. They were 12-4, but look at that December record, 14-3 in this month under Fossil.
And in my mind, that means that Jim Fossil's understanding his personnel and figuring them out in the month of December, putting them in the right position to win.
Rodney Williams gets off a rocket, and he's been erratic, and it goes back to about the 5-yard line. And Charlie Rogers brings it up near the 19 before he is whacked on the play by a host of players, including Ron Dixon. Nice punt by Rodney Williams, sailing 61 yards. So we got a timeout.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by the all-new 200-horsepower Acura RSX Type S. IBM, taking e-business and your business to the next level. And by Zales, the Diamond Store.
Both teams have had the ball once. Both teams have punted. Kevin Harlan alongside Craig James. Beasley Reese, Giant Stadium, 19-yard line. Seattle's second possession. First down and 10. Hasselbeck hands off. Sean Alexander into the secondary and then brought down by a couple players after a gain of 4. Keith Hamilton is there on the line along with Cornelius Griffin. As you take a look at Mike Holmgren. And since he's taken control of Seattle, they've won 22 and they've lost 23.
You know, you talk about the mindset of a football team. He has a players committee. He went to the committee and said, hey, you guys will go down to ground zero. They came back to him and said, no, coach, this is a business trip for us. We're focused. He understands what his team's trying to accomplish this weekend.
23-yard line, second down, 6, and outside the Darrell Jackson, knocked out of bounds by rookie Will Allen. It's a gain of 2. And they spot the ball at the 25. That'll bring up third down and about 4.
Which is manageable. I mean, that's manageable for Matt Hasselbeck. But again, this guy has to be poised today. He can't worry about where Michael Strahan is.
Now, Holmgren scripts the first 15 plays of the game, doesn't he?
And this is one of the best teams at opening drive touchdowns in the league, like number 5 in the league. They didn't do that, but they do have very good consistency with their first 15.
There's a third down this season. Third down and 4 from the 25. Hasselbeck down the middle. Threads the needle. The pass caught 31-yard line by tight end Christian Fourier. It's a gain of 6 on third down and 4 and a first down for the Seahawks.
Wow, Sean Williams, that wasn't like going underneath the mistletoe getting a Christmas kiss, was it? Sean Williams tattooed him, but Fourier held on for it, and that's the management. That's the management that keep reaching and don't try to go above and beyond.
From the 31, first and 10, changing the play at the line is Hasselbeck. And it's Alexander plowing ahead. Hamilton is there. Armstead is around the tackle as well. About 4.5 on the carry up to the 36-yard line. Last week, Seattle beat Dallas 29-3 with no turnovers and no penalties. And Alexander came in after they started Ricky Waters, and he had gained 100 yards. But then Waters broke his ankle and is out for the year.
And I think last week's rest really will long-term benefit this guy and the team down the backstretch.
Good point. 2nd down and 5 from the 36. And look at him squirt free as Alexander goes ahead for 8, picks up another Seattle first down. He is out near the 44-yard line on the first down.
All right, here's the matchup in this football game here. The Seattle Seahawks offense, they're number 6 in the league at 125 yards on the ground. Can the Giants defense maintain what they've been doing? Now, this is December. This is when if you run the football, you win. If you stop the football, you win. And so that's the challenge. You just saw that last run right there. Sean Alexander, a lot of strength and power in those legs.
Alexander, the number 9 rusher in the NFL, 45, 1st and 10, fake handoff, end around, goes to Corey Robinson, chased by Garnes, shoved out of bounds by Allen. Gain of perhaps 2 to the 47-yard line as we go downstairs to Beasley Reese.
All right, thanks a lot, guys. The Giants clearly deciding that what they are going to do is stop the run. They are doing that by dropping down number 36, Sean Williams. Watch him walking up, making that 8th man in the box. The reason he made such a quick play on that quick toss to the tight end, he was walking up and ran right into the play. He'll be a big factor in this defense.
Well, and the discipline that they are going to have in this ball game and blanketing the field from numbers to numbers or they'll get burned.
47-yard line, 2nd down, 8, looking one way, throwing the other. Down the middle it goes to Alex Bannister, who's a reserve wide receiver. And the rookie works his way to the 37-yard line. On 2nd down and 8, they pick up 16. As Alan Bannister, a rookie out of Eastern Kentucky, gets his 4th reception of the season.
This here, watch the footwork of Hasselbeck. Looking right, progression comes back to the left. Bannister right here in the middle just kind of slides there inside the linebackers. They lost concentration. Seahorn did is where he went. Hasselbeck moving his feet, having the time to make the adjustments on the progression.
And moving the ball around. He's at 5 different receivers. 37-yard line. 1st and 10, the pump fake. Going deep down the side, looking for Jackson. Through his hands and incomplete. The flag is down. And he was working on Seahorn and Garnes. Flag has been thrown, and it's on the New York Giants. Jackson is their leading receiver. In fact, led all rookie receivers a season ago.
Offside, number 90, defense. Lined up in the neutral zone. 5-yard penalty. Repeat first down.
And that is ex-Titan Kenny Holmes.
Yeah, you know, Darrell Jackson, yeah, he is their best receiver, but he's also their best receiver at not finishing plays. They're going to pick on Jason Seahorn. You saw that little wiggle and bake there. Jackson's got to finish that play, make the catch.
So now 1st and 5 inside the Giant 32. Alexander with some nice blocking ahead by Jones. Stiff arms his way into Peterson. Knocked out of bounds by Cornelius Griffin on a gain of 2. Back to Seahorn. He has been heavily criticized this season. He is about as visible a player as you'll find on the New York Giants. But he is also, in deference to him, playing with a bad knee, Craig, that's going to need some surgery at the end of the season.
But, you know, and that's why they're picking on him. You know, and what they said is if you run a wiggle route against him, you saw that one move that Alexander just made on him, that got him open, or Jackson did. That's what you've got to do. You've got to wiggle. You can't run vanilla or Seahorn will cover you.
On the 30, 2nd down and 3. And it's tough to bring down a big horse like Alexander, who picks up 2. And finally, they got on him with Strahan. Sean Alexander, 2 years out of Alabama. He's had 3 100-yard games this season. Craig has 12 rushing touchdowns, #1 in the NFL.
But it used to be a running back that had a lot of yards missed, and Holmgren keeps track of that stuff. How many blocks did you misread? And he's eliminated a lot of those. He's becoming more consistent.
29-yard line, 3rd and 1, 10th play of the drive. Alexander, and he busts free, and there he goes. It's a foot race. And he is in for the touchdown. A 29-yard gallop by Sean Alexander, his 13th rushing touchdown of the season.
And the left guard, Steve Hutchinson, watch how he pulls, and he's going to kick out. When he does that, the patience of Alexander. Look at Hutchinson's nice job of getting Kenny Holmes, and then it's a foot race with Sean Alexander. But again, the patience and the blocking by Steve Hutchinson clears the way.
Ryan Lindell will try the extra point. and strokes it in. That was a well-orchestrated drive by young quarterback Matt Hasselbeck. And Sean Alexander, as good as there is in the NFL, glides in for 6.
The world's greatest golfers will claim history as their own. The PGA Tour is on CBS Sports.
Good-looking drive by Seattle. 5 plays, 81 yards. Hasselbeck was 3 of 3 throwing, and Alexander 6 carries and 50 yards on the drive. So 7-0 Seattle. And Ryan Lindell sets to kick off. Stoutmeyer and Ron Dixon are deep for the New York Giants. And this is Dixon at about the 10. And grabbed and slowed down by Charlton, who eventually makes the stop around his ankles after a 14-yard return by Ron Dixon. Alexander, with great blocking ahead, finds the end zone.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by the all-new Honda CR-V, a vehicle designed for your adventures in reality. And by Cellular One. When you need a cell phone, Cellular One is here.
Seattle just kicked off to the Giants after the touchdown run by Alexander. The Giants, who beat Arizona here last week, 17-13. Lineup Collins 1st and 10. Great play by Anthony Simmons in the backfield, piercing it and bringing down Tiki Barber for a loss of 3 on the play. And now it'll be at the 21-yard line, where it'll be 2nd down and about 13.
This guy is one heck of a football player that most of the NFL fans don't know about yet. But I'm telling you, he can play, he can move, he can run. And the way they've designed this defense to push things to the outside, his speed makes a lot of plays for him.
21-yard line, 2nd down and 13. Barber outside. Nice block by the tight end Campbell. And Tiki accelerates up to about the 31-yard line, picking up 10. As we send you for the first time today to our studios in Jim Nance.
All right, thank you, Kevin. Jacksonville with a quick jump on Minnesota in the dome. It's Stacy Mack from 3 yards out, 10-0 Jags, and Spurgeon Wynn is coming in for Todd Bauman, who has re-injured his thumb. Let's go back to you.
Thank you, Jim. Stacy Mack had 115 yards rushing last week against Cleveland. Has a touchdown today for Jacksonville. Not bad. A good-looking running back for Jacksonville. And a timeout taken by Seattle's defense.
He was tough, spirited, and intimidating. Yet he's remembered as compassionate and generous. CBS Sports presents The Bear, the legend of Coach Paul Bryant, next Saturday.
Seattle on top of the Giants, 7-0. Kevin Harlan alongside Craig James. We had a long talk yesterday with Giant coach Jim Fossil on the mechanics of his quarterback, Kerry Collins.
Kerry Collins, he had him run a 40-yard dash holding the football, and he ran it like this. So he said, okay, you're comfortable with that. Now I want you to backpedal and start doing this. Push the ball back and then throw. Kerry used to hold it low, then go here, and a long arm. So he's trying to work on his mechanics, and Kerry really feels a lot better about knowing when he screwed up with his mechanics and making adjustments.
Fundamentals huge. 3rd down and 3 from the 30-yard line. Camella's in motion. And Collins gets a block from Barber. Here's the pass by Collins, and it's caught again. This time by Ike Hilliard, who weaves downfield. He's inside the Seattle 44 to the 43. And on 3rd and 3, he picks up 26 yards and a much-needed New York Giant 1st down.
Yeah, let's just see how he's doing here. You know, Kerry Collins talking about his footwork, getting back, holding the ball right where he runs the 40. See where he has the football? He's right there in the middle of it. He's designed now to push the football back, and then throw. That was the kind of work that he's tried to accomplish over the last several weeks, and he really appreciates Jim Fossil taking the time to teach him the fundamentals.
Ron Dane has come in. 1st down and 10. Best position today by the Giants at the Seattle 43. Fake to Dane. Here comes Sinclair. There goes the pass. The fullback Camella brought down by Anthony Simmons on a gain of 7 yards to about the 36-yard line. And Camella lassos his 27th reception of the season. It'll be second down, Craig, at about 3.
This is where the game has to be played by the Giants. It can't be in the middle of the field. The Seahawks front 7 and interior line is far superior to New York's line. They've got to get it to the perimeter. Tiki Barber and those receivers outside.
Dane remains second down and 3 near the Seattle 36. The fake to Dane. Great time for Collins. Toomer is broken free. Incomplete. Flag is down at the 19-yard line. He was jousting with Willie Williams on the side. Williams has been the best cornerback this season for Seattle's defense.
Illegal contact. Number 27 defense. 5-yard penalty and a first down.
There's going to be a lot more passing today. It's not windy like typical December days here in the Meadowlands. That time Willie Williams takes the play action and bites on it hard, and Toomer gets him to the outside and has a big play with that. They will be able to throw the football today. Kerry Collins has proven in the past that if he's given time to throw the football, he is extremely accurate and dangerous.
And this Seattle team doesn't get tagged with a lot of penalties. It is a first down. 31-yard line. Dane in the backfield against the call. Finds a hole. Gets a great block from Toomer. Scrutinized because the Giants selected him instead of Sean Alexander. And Alexander has been grabbing season-long headlines, and they're wondering what's happened to Dane. He just answered him right there. Morton Anderson with the extra point, which ties the game at 7.
Nothing's wrong with Ron Dane. Tiki Barber happens to be the guy who's the MVP on the offense. Inside, watch the block here taking place when they come to the inside. Look at the block. Look at the read going backside. This is a powerful running back. Ron Dane just happens to be playing behind the MVP of their offense right now. They've got to keep Tiki Barber in the game. Nothing against Ron Dane.
Ron Dane won the Heisman at Wisconsin, which sold Jim Fussell on him over Sean Alexander. And Dane right there, who has not had a lot of carries. He averages only 11 a game, Craig. Alexander averages almost 19 a game for Seattle.
He will be a 1,000-yard rusher in the NFL. His time is not now. Sean Alexander had to be patient. Ricky Watters were there. Sean Alexander had to sit on the bench. He was frustrated. He wanted to play, and there's nothing wrong with that. And I really admire Ron Dane, the way he's handling this situation in New York. He is taking his time. He's not ripping his teammate. He's not ripping the front office, but he does want to play.
Owen Kochman to kick off for the Giants. Charlie Rogers drifting back to the 5. And brought down by Dhani Jones near the 27-yard line. A return of 21 yards to Beasley Reese we go.
All right, guys, just another point about Ron Dane. In our meeting with Jim Fussell, Fussell talked about being concerned about a lot of lost yardage on first and second down, and particularly with Ron Dane. Well, I think he answers the call here by taking it the distance and to the house. And you're right, Craig, his time is coming. He's going to be a big-time back.
Hey, Bees, 2 plays before that I made the statement they've got to win the game on the perimeter. They have been successful outside. That has spread out Seattle's defense, and that opens up the interior.
On the 27, first and 10, here comes the aforementioned Alexander, brought down Barrow along with Kenny Holmes. It's a gain of 6 on first down up to the 33.
Kind of surprised right now that New York, as committed to the box as they are with Sean Williams, is not getting it done. They're not stuffing it. And you would think, because of the way they're coming up there with Sean Williams, those 8 guys would win this. Give you an idea here what we're talking about. Sean Williams, how he walks up late. A lot of times he's back here in center field. He'll walk up late and play in that box.
Second down 4 from the 34. Hasselback on the money to the tight end Fourier, who is spun down near the 40-yard line and gets the first down. Picks up 6 on the play, and log on to NFL.com as this week's Stat Pack breaks down kickers and their ability to get the job done in crunch time this season. Sebastian Janikowski excluded. Just go to NFL.com or America Online keyword. America Online keyword NFL.com. From the 40, first and 10. Alexander with the block from Fourier and then to Fowler. For no gain on the play, Michael Barrow, who has had a terrific time here in New York, the leading tackler who's played with the one-time Houston Oilers, Carolina, and the New York Giants.
We asked Michael Strahan, who's the best player on defense besides you? He got 11. He said Barrow, easily. The guy is making a lot of plays. Actually, they're linebacker level. All three of those guys last week had a really good outing.
Second down and 10 from the 40. Hasselbeck. Wobbly pass downfield, incomplete. Looking for Corn Robinson with the coverage applied by Allen and by Sam Garnes. It'll be 3rd and 10.
Garnes in the secondary, they realize that they can fool and disguise Matt Hasselbeck's reads, and that's what they're going to try to accomplish, and really make movements late, right before the snap. They're going to try to make some movements and adjustments, and like that ball right there, that had to be a perfect trajectory pass because of where the linebacker level had dropped to.
3rd down and 10 from the 40. With under a minute to play here in the first quarter, it's Alexander. And belted high and hard by Sam Garnes, the hard-hitting safety out of Cincinnati. And stops him shy of the first down, and so Seattle's got to punt again.
There are times that Sean Alexander gives his legs up. In the long term, that's going to be a benefit to him, but he took a good blow right there because he gave his feet up right when Sam Garnes hit him.
Tiki Barber awaits the punt from Jeff Fiegels. The Jean-Philippe Darche snap. And he's under at about the 14-yard line. Trapped and brought down by someone who played at Harvard. Yep, in the NFL, there are players like that. That's Isaiah Kaczynski. And because of his greatness on special teams, Seattle has one of the best in the NFL and a loss of 3 right there. You don't see many Harvard guys in the NFL, but it is good to see him. Well, our poll from the NFL, which stadium would be the toughest place for a road team to win a conference championship game?
Man, I've been torn on this one here, but I'm going to go with Pittsburgh. New stadium, cold, tough. They can run the football. You like Green Bay? You're good at just circling the whole column, man. You just cover your fanny. You go 2 or 3 names.
Kerry Collins played an NFC championship game for Carolina in Green Bay and lost it outside on 1st and 10 after the Seattle punt. Greg Carmelo with his second reception of the game. Brought down by Anthony Simmons after a gain of 5 near the 16-yard line.
I like how Kerry Collins in this Giants offense is methodical. You know, you notice how they're just kind of working to the right side. They're setting things up, just being patient. Collins 5 of 6, being patient, taking the underneath throws.
The next till halftime report is on deck. From New York, join Jim, Mike, Randy, and Jerry. Scores, highlights, and news, and a preview of the Browns-Green Bay game. I saw Minneapolis got about 10 inches of snow, and that's all headed for Green Bay, where it's going to be rainy today. It's all coming up in the next till halftime report.
That's great weather there. A cup of hot chocolate, a little cheese dip.
Giants have been stranded deep in their own zone to start drives today. 2nd down and 5 as we begin the second quarter. From the 15. Ron Dane picking and poking his way up, gaining a yard on the play. Tackle made by Marcus Robertson. And to about the 16-17-yard line. Well, that would have been a hard choice going back to that draft a couple years ago, Dane or Alexander.
Well, a lot of people felt like that, you know, Ron Dane was a guy that was washed up. He'd had all his carries out of his way in college, and they were a little worried about his ability to break tackles and run beyond people. Sean Alexander's got that surprising, deceptive dart coming out of his cuts.
17-yard line, 3rd down and 4. Amani Toomer has not caught a pass yet. Collins outside. Nice twisting catch made by Barber. Another great defensive play made by Anthony Simmons. The linebacker throwing him for a loss of a yard on the play, and so the Giants have got to punt once again.
I got to tell you, I mentioned Anthony Simmons a while ago. To be able to get to Tiki Barber in the open field is not like getting to Ron Dane. No disregard to Ron Dane, but Ron Dane's not the open field runner that Barber is. He's quick. Simmons is fast. He gets out there and he covers up receivers extremely well in the flats.
Rodney Williams to punt on the Jason Whittle snap. Not very long, wobbling down to about the 40-yard line to Charlie Rogers, who gets a great block and then is brought down from behind nicely by Kevin Lewis. 40-yard punt, 8-yard return, and a timeout at Giant Stadium. 29-yard touchdown run by Sean Alexander, a 31-yard touchdown run by Ron Dane. We are in the second quarter. Kevin Harlan, Craig James, and ex-New York Giant Beasley Reese on the sideline for us today. After the Giant punt, from the 47-yard line, 1st and 10 for Hasselbeck. Right to work he goes, winding up, and he's got Robinson deep and a fingertip grab at the 10. And he gets up and goes in, but they mark him down at the 11-yard line. He works and beats the rookie, Will Allen. And a first down for Seattle. Spectacular play and a gain of 42 yards.
Well, first of all, it all starts up front. And Seattle said we will have 2 guys on him at all times. You see Weiner getting help from the fullback Strong, which allows the throw down the field. Corn Robinson shakes his guy and comes up with a spectacular catch way down the field.
On the 11-yard line, 1st and 10. Here's Sean Alexander dancing, and Sean Williams brings him down. That 42-yard grab, by the way, by rookie Corn Robinson, a career long. And he, like Darrell Jackson the year before, might lead all NFL rookies in receptions.
And that's the teaser play. I mean, that's why they have so high a hopes for him. But then he'll have plays where he'll just mentally go poo-poo. You know what? The old brain cramps up. And he doesn't know what he's doing.
I think you just did that. Second down and 11 at the 12. Hasselbeck, Strahan has been held without a sack so far. Outside to Sean Alexander, bulldozing his way inside the 5 and crashing to the 2-yard line. It's a gain of about 9, maybe 10 yards, depending on the spot. Seahorn in on the tackle as they continue to move at ease on the New York Giant defense.
And this Giants defense, when they get in the red zone, they are really good at creating turnovers. Mike Holmgren likes to, what he says, take his shots when he gets down here, but he has to be careful because the Giants really do nice jobs of getting the ball turned over for the offense.
So now 3rd down, long 1. Ball is inside the 3. Hasselbeck. And here comes Griffin to the end zone. Intercepted by Jason's incomplete pass. Seahorn dropped it. He was beat last week in the end zone by the Arizona Cardinals and Jake Plummer. Couldn't lasso that one right there. So the Giant defense will hold, relegating Seattle to a 3-point try.
What we just talked about, the Giants defense in the red zone turning the football over. Seahorn's there to make the play, and he doesn't finish it off. But this is one of those gutsy, risky moves. He can't make that. Hasselbeck can't make that throw. Conversely, Seahorn's got to come up with it.
Giants have not created a turnover in the last 3 games. And now here comes the buzzer from upstairs. The Giants want to challenge if it indeed was an interception by Jason Seahorn. As Lindell was lining up for a 20-yard field goal. But the Giants have not gotten a turnover in 3 games. And that has been one of the reasons why they have been staggering. Nothing last week against Plummer in Arizona.
You know, conversely, Seattle's not turned the ball over. They've been on a pretty good run themselves.
5 of the last 6 games.
Question's going to be, did he have possession? Did he have possession? Wow. I don't, you know. He has it early. He has it early. I don't think so. I just don't think he had it long enough coming down. Can't blame Fossil for throwing the flag out there. He's making sure right now what the challenge is. And Ron Winter's going to let us know what he's going to go in there and look for. But it has to be possession.
New York has challenged the ruling on the field if the pass is incomplete.
No, that the pass was intercepted.
Right. I just don't think that he has early on, but he's going down as he has this. And I don't think that's going to be conclusive enough to overturn the call made on the field.
And Beasley, what did you see?
Well, guys, that happened about 5 or 6 steps away from me. I followed the entire play. He caught the ball in the air. He came down, hit the ground, and had it for maybe 1/5 of a second. and it rolled out. Now, here's the key point. When Jason Sehorn got up and walked back to the huddle, he looked at his own bench and waved as if, Coach, I didn't catch it. Don't challenge. So I think it's going to be so close that they won't be able to overturn it. But he certainly caught it and came to the ground with it.
Kev, how about our man Bees coming up with that 1/5 of a second? Now, that's a stopwatch, isn't it?
Well, he's smart enough to do that, but, you know, he used to play defensive back for the Giants, and so it's obvious that DBs like that kept track of things like that as well.
And the fastest man in the world gets down there. He's right there on the scene. But, you know, a lot of coaches, you talk to them around the league, people say, hey, don't burn a timeout. They don't worry about that, especially in the second quarter.
Mike Shanahan says, forget the timeouts. I'm going to challenge if I want to challenge.
After reviewing the play, the defensive player did not maintain control of the ball. Pass is incomplete. New York is charged with a timeout. 4th down.
So back to where we started, and that was Ryan Lindell attempting a 20-yard field goal after a 42-yard reception by rookie Seahawk receiver Corin Robinson. Gave them outstanding field position. Seattle will try for 3. And the Giants do keep him out of the end zone.
Jason Sehorn's been the victim of a lot of controversy, a lot of talking around the league right now, specifically here in New York area. And Bees, you know what? I don't care who the defensive back is. If they want to attack you, they can.
Absolutely. They will go at anybody. And certainly that time, Jason Sehorn was in perfect, absolutely perfect position.
Figgles the hold, and the kick by Lindell is in. I think just barely. Our angle showed it. It just may have even grazed the upright. This was not an interception, but the Giants hold Seattle out of the end zone.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by Prudential Financial, growing and protecting your wealth. DirecTV, the #1 digital satellite entertainment provider. And by Sprint PCS, the clear alternative to cellular.
Festive New York. It's 10-7 after the 20-yard field goal by Lindell. Set up on that 42-yard reception by Corin Robinson. And now the ensuing kickoff by Lindell. High, short kick. Ron Dixon and his momentum takes him out of bounds to 15. A great kickoff by Lindell. Oh, and a flag thrown because Tim Terry of Seattle was banging people on the chalk and out of bounds. Seattle did not have any penalties last week in their win against Dallas. This one is against the New York Giants.
Personal foul, number 95, the return team. Penalized half the distance to the goal. 1st down.
Frank Ferrara. Well, we mentioned moments ago about our colleague Beasley Reese and his time with the New York Giants as a defensive back. He could have competed in the Olympics. One of the fastest people in America, but he decided to pursue the NFL. And number 28 lives in the hearts of so many and in the heart of Bill Parcells. As you saw right there. Now back to the 9-yard line with the penalty. 1st and 10. Collins twirls, hit by Anthony Simmons, but he did get the ball away and in the vicinity of Tiki Barber. Incomplete. Anthony Simmons is having a tremendous ball game.
Yeah, you know what? Anthony Simmons, I told you, he can do it on the outside, but he can also get there from the inside. Coming from this side here this time, they blow their protection plan. They're trying to run a little screen to the right side. Simmons gets there prior to the pass and the play developing. Now, this is a trouble area. This is a trouble problem right now for the Giants. They've started on the 10, the 24, the 11, and now the 9. That's not good to start that deep in your territory.
2 tight ends, 2nd down and 10. Collins at his 9. Howard Cross is on the move. Tiki Barber with the block from Glenn Parker. Running against Robertson. Pushed out of bounds by Willie Williams. And he may have been lucky to get back to the line of scrimmage. He did. These defenses have played enthused football so far, as Pittsburgh is all over the Detroit Lions, and Chicago is now taking a lead on Washington. Marty Booker with the big first half so far. Tampa Bay on top of New Orleans. That is not good for the Giants in their playoff scenario.
No, it's not. You can't tell what's going to happen in this league, can you? You can't.
It is 3rd down and 10 from the 9. Collins with time, fires a pass. A flag is thrown, passes caught by Ike Hilliard. He's up near the 24. It's a pickup of 16 pending the call. And a hold against Seattle.
Collins getting in that little groove right now. Plenty of time to throw the ball.
Holding. Number 99 defense. Penalties declined. Play results in a first down.
You know, they were talking about his emotion, how he just doesn't show much emotion come good times or bad, as Kerry Collins.
Yeah, as soon as Hilliard came across the middle, you saw him put his arm out there trying to grab him and slow him down, but it didn't make any difference. They completed it.
So it is a first down up to the 24-yard line. And Collins, here comes Anthony Simmons. Collins tries to shed him, and he gets the pass off. And it's caught by Amani Toomer. And a flag is back at the 19. A 24-yard gain. And remember, it was Toomer last week that dropped all those passes for the Giants in the game against Arizona. And he was almost yanked from the game. Then he went on to catch the game-winning touchdown pass, another Seattle penalty.
Face mask. 5 yards only. Defense. Penalties declined. Play results in a first down.
Yeah, watch him right here again. This guy is wreaking havoc on Kerry Collins. As he gets through there, Tiki Barber can't deal with him. He rakes his hand across Collins' face mask, and they've got to come up with some kind of protection plan here. Change it up, because Anthony Simmons is coming up the middle and taking total advantage of Tiki Barber in those backs.
Ron Dane is now in the backfield. It's outside the 48. Under 10 to play in the first half, and it's 1st and 10 for the Giants. The tight end Camilla maneuvers. And Ron Dane grabbed by Chad Brown and Russell down. No gain on the play. It'll be 2nd down and 10. Next Saturday, see the All-American icon known as Bear through the eyes of Joe Namath, Kenny Stabler, Bo Jackson, Ara Parseghian, and more on the legend of Coach Paul Bryant. A CBS Sports special.
He recruited me, and I got to tell you, it was very hard to tell him no. I was shaking, man. I mean, it was just, I'm honored that I was recruited by the man.
2nd down and 10 near the 49. Collins being chased by Robertson, throws it off to a fullback, Camilla, for the 3rd catch today for him. Brought down by Chad Eaton. It's a gain of 5. It's down to the... How much did last week's game-ending drive by the Giants that won the game against the Cardinals have in preparing for this game, for the emotional state of the Giants?
It had everything to do in preparing for the game. They said they showed up Wednesday, had a little step in their foot. You know, they were moving. And it's really all about the offensive line, because if they give Kerry Collins time to throw, you see he's going to complete the pass. He's 9 of 11. He has accuracy. It's not windy here today, but it's all about the offensive line.
3rd down and 5 from the 46. Jaravicius is on the move. Nice block. Here comes Brown. There goes the pass by Collins. Almost intercepted on the play by Reggie Tongue. Incomplete. 4th and 5. They're going to have to punt again. Just when it looks like they get something going, I got to boot it away.
That's that defense. You know, they're really Seattle putting that pressure inside. Ron Dane had the real nice run earlier, but this is a pressure. You know, all that ball mechanics we were talking about earlier. It went out the window.
That doesn't mean a lot when you got guys breathing down your neck, does it?
Hey, Coach Fossil, man. Yeah. I'm trying to protect myself.
Rodney Williams to punt again back inside his 45. Little pooch dying inside the 20-yard line to the 15. Down there by Dave Thomas, a 31-yard as Paul Miranda looked like he wanted to get in the fray. 31-yard punt. And a timeout in the Meadowlands. Monday on CBS, it's a great night of television, starting with The King of Queens, followed by The Ellen Show on a special night. Then it's the #1 comedy on Mondays, Everybody Loves Raymond, followed by Becker, starring Ted Danson, and Family Law. That's Monday on CBS. Kevin Harlan, Craig James, Beasley Reese from East Rutherford, New Jersey, after the Rodney Williams giant punt to the 15-yard line. Seattle begins it. They got a rushing touchdown and a field goal. They have a 10-7 lead. Hasselbeck short drop after the audible at the line, looking for Jackson, incomplete down the side. 2nd down and 10.
You saw Sam Garnes over there. He'd come up early. Matt tried to change the play there and just couldn't execute it.
Here's my favorite story on Matt Hasselbeck. You ready?
Yeah.
When you played for the Patriots, he used to mow your grass in Foxborough.
Yep. You know what? Now I need money from him, right? I want to mow his yard.
That's a great story. His dad played for the Patriots.
Good player. And the Giants.
That's right. About 5 passes. 2nd down and 10 from the 15. Up the middle. Nothing there. And then he breaks outside. Sean Alexander brought down by Sean Williams. Up near the 23-24-yard line. He gains 8 when it looked like he may not gain 8 inches.
I'll tell you what, Michael Barrow would tell you right now is that this is a pretty strong young runner, because Michael Barrow came through there and drilled him right in the kisser. Didn't do too much for him, though.
We're seeing some nice young running backs coming to the NFL.
We really are. We're seeing young running backs realize it's a downhill game in the NFL. It's not a speed demon game. You got to break tackles.
I know you got great appreciation for that. It's 3rd down and 2. A block by Jones and Tobeck. And a dive into the grasp of Cornelius Griffin up near the 27-yard line. On 3rd and 2, he picks up 5 and moves the chains for Seattle.
Mike Holmgren is so smart in the way he handles an offensive game plan and the way he's disciplined with it. Right now, they've run the ball 14 times and they've had 12 passes. A good balance taking place.
Just outside the 27-yard line. 1st down and 10. Alexander again, trailed by Michael Barrow. Leading tackler on the team. Had 13 tackles last week against Arizona. It'll be 2nd down and 12 and a loss of 2.
He's an old man, isn't he? Hey, and he learns. That old dog learns new tricks. You watch Barrow come in this time. Watch him wrap up. The last time he let him go. He's not letting go this time. Put those paws on him and hold on.
Alexander has left the game, and Jay Graham, a reserve who didn't even play NFL football a season ago, is in. 2nd down and 12. Back at the 25. Blocked by Jones. Pocket crumble. Look out for Barrow. It's stripped. It's loose. It's a fumble. Picked up by Strahan. Breaks a tackle of Matt Strong and takes it in for a touchdown. Michael Strahan's 3rd career touchdown. And the Giants have their first lead today. Morton Anderson.
Seattle brings in Graham and Strong in the backfield, take Alexander out for better pass protection. They have a blown assignment. Michael Barrow strips the ball, and that guy named Strahan picks it up and scores.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by Beechwood Aged Budweiser, with a crisp, clean, and refreshing taste known only to the king of beers. And by Volkswagen. On the road of life, there are passengers and there are drivers.
Giants figured out how to win last year. They used every ounce of energy to get to the playoffs in the Super Bowl. This time they come from the outside. Michael Barrow works around, stays with the play. The confusion up front allowed Barrow time to come around the backside to make the play. It was miscommunication and poor timing on Hasselbeck's part, not getting rid of the football.
So after the turnover and the touchdown, the Owen Bachman kickoff. Rodgers from the 15-yard line for Seattle. Finds a lane, then brought down from behind by Tabiti Davis. That is a 26-yard return. There is a player down for Seattle. Christian Fourier is slow to get up. And let's go to Beasley Reese.
Thanks a lot, guys. You know, you mentioned that this is Strahan's third career touchdown. I remember 2 years ago against the Eagles, he bats a ball up and takes it in. I don't think anything demoralizes a team worse than watching a big lumbering lineman go into the end zone. Strahan with 17 sacks leads the league. He is 5 away from the NFL all-time. Guys like that just find a way to make plays. Back to you.
Hey, Bees, I think he'd thump you on the ear right now. You call him lumbering. He considers him an athlete, man. Are you kidding me?
From the 41, 1st and 10, Alexander dancing outside and brought down by Sean Williams after a gain of 4 near the 45. 2nd down and 6.
I got to tell you, I think he's the NFL's most valuable player on defense right now. He's got 17 sacks. He's trying to catch Mark Gastineau, who has 22 back in 1984. I gave up a couple of them to him. Strahan goes into a game not trying to get sacks. He says, I'm going to play the game, and whatever it gives me, I'll take.
2nd down and 6 at the 45. Hasselbeck with some nice blocking outside to Darrell Jackson. Grabbed by Sehorn and doused on the play outside by Garnes. A gain of 8. And to the 48-yard line, so they are in Giant territory.
One of the things Strahan said he's most disappointed about are the ones that he didn't get. He says, you know, if I'd have just all of the ones that I should have and could have, I'd already broken the record, especially in the first few weeks. He says, man, I messed around, and now I'm trying to catch up and get the record. And he definitely wants it.
So he gets a 1st down to the 47-yard line of New York. 1st and 10. The blitz is on. Here comes Barrow, and he throws it away to Hasselbeck at the feet of Alexander. Michael Barrow's making a nice impersonation of Anthony Simmons on the Seattle side.
Absolutely. Hey, Simmons and Barrow right now wreaking havoc on these running backs and the offensive line. They're not picking up. They're going to have to make an adjustment, both of these football teams, at halftime to account for Michael Barrow and Anthony Simmons.
Two touchdown runs, one by Seattle, one by Ron Dane of the Giants, a 20-yard field goal by Lindell, and then the Seattle fumble and subsequent Strahan recovery and 13-yard touchdown run. 2nd down and 10. Alexander slithers to the 43. And now, after a gain of 3 or 4 in the play, it'll be 3rd down and about 5 or 6 to go. Wednesday on CBS. Join President Bush and the world's biggest stars when America pays tribute to Jack Nicholson, Julie Andrews, and more. Don't miss the Kennedy Center Honors. Wednesday on CBS.
Christian Fourier still out of the game after that kickoff return banged up.
Bobby Ingram hasn't caught a pass yet. 3rd down and 6 from the Giant 43. Ingram, the big 3rd down receiver. A Walter Jones block and a pass downfield, broken up as they threw to Bobby Ingram. Broken up beautifully by Sean Williams, and Seattle has got a punt.
Bobby Ingram is one of the players, one of the better 3rd down receivers, kind of like Wayne Corbett, a guy that really you can depend on 3rd down and converting. He is so efficient at it. They come, they try to flood the outside. He drives inside, hooks back up to the outside, and a beautiful job of Williams coming up and hitting him right as he touched the football.
Fiegels to punt. And this one will sail to the corner. Nice kick by Fiegels. And they're walking it off on the side and at the 6-yard line. Coming January 15th on CBS, the creator of JAG brings you a new drama that dares to take you inside the Supreme Court. First Monday. Don't miss the series premiere. Tuesday, January 15th on CBS. Kevin Harlan, Craig James, and Beasley Reese. Sun is beginning to disappear now. The shadows are basically gone from the field, and the Giants begin it again in poor beginning field position at their 6-yard line.
The average has been at the 10-yard line. I mean, that's how poor their field starting position's been.
Collins 1st and 10. Dane in the backfield. And he gets the fake from Collins. Here comes the pocket fumbling. It's loose. It's a fumble. And John Randall has got a touchdown for Seattle. his first career touchdown. And the Seahawks are back on top.
One thing about Kerry Collins, that's his 18th fumble of the year. You talk about all-time fumbling quarterbacks. He is one of them. And John Randall and that defensive line taking advantage of this poor field position the Giants offense has had to start with.
Ryan Lindell will try the extra point. And the lead shifting back to Seattle. So both quarterbacks have fumbled. Both fumbles returned for touchdowns.
Yeah, John Randall's up on the top here. They just push the pocket here. They're going to try to get to the outside, and Randall and them come in. They slap the football, get on it for a touchdown. Santa Claus here for both defenses today.
Howie, what's a good gift to get for somebody you really care about?
Football tickets.
No. Something you get more use out of.
Season tickets.
Something from the heart.
Luxury suite.
Oh, no!
No, Howie, it's a free Nokia phone from Verizon Wireless, just in time for the holidays, so it makes a great gift.
And football tickets.
Now at Radio Shack, get a free Nokia 5100 series phone after instant rebate. Plus, get 3,500 minutes for only $35 monthly access. Radio Shack.
All right, Antonio Cochran over here. Luke Pettigrew, he's got to deal with it. He's got to come out, move his feet, and get to the outside. It's only a four-man rush. There's nothing confusing about this whatsoever. Collins in the back of the pocket. Again, Collins has fumbled 18 times. That's a whole lot of fumbles. He has to recognize that and move to the front of the pocket. Get away from that.
Dave Craig had the record, I think, for a career. But in a single season, those are the numbers, and not good. Ryan Lindell will kick off after the Giant fumble and subsequent Seattle touchdown. Ron Dixon at about the 11-yard line. Grabbed by Tim Terry, a reserve linebacker, and hauled down at the 27. To Beasley Reese.
All right, guys, I have a report on Christian Fourier, the tight end for the Seattle Seahawks. He had a neck stinger. He will return. Now, he's an interesting story as well. He is a free agent. You can't tell by his production this year, but he's a great pass receiving tight end, and he will be a very coveted free agent this offseason. Back to you.
Yeah, Beasley, he's the all-time tight end receiving leader for Seattle.
Yeah, but Seattle this year has opted to keep him in on routes and pass protect to help Hasselbeck, so that's why his numbers are down.
Barber is in, 1st and 10. Giants at the 27. Cross in the backfield. They'll give a block for Barber, who's brought down almost immediately by John Hilliard and Levon Kirkland, the ex-Pittsburgh Steeler. It's a gain of 1 on the play, 2nd down and 9.
The Giants are going to have to continue to be methodical about their approach with this. They can't give up on setting things up. In other words, they've got to keep trying to run the football, try to run it, and then hit the perimeter. They've got to go. If they can get Barber in the flats, I think that's their best option.
And there's the rushing story. 31 of those 42 Giant rushing yards. Dane on the touchdown run, 2nd down 9 from the 28. Blocked by Barber, a bullet thrown by Collins to Ike Hilliard downfield, 40-yard line, should be good for a 1st down, and it is. 13-yard pickup. Both teams with 2 timeouts remaining. Well, Tampa Bay is absolutely killing the New Orleans Saints right now, and that is not good news for the New York Giants.
But the Giants just need to win. Like they said, we can't worry about all these what-ifs. They had a Christmas gift yesterday with the Eagles losing. They got to win this one.
Outside the 40, 1st and 10, going deep, looking for Toomer. It's incomplete downfield. The coverage applied by Ike Charlton, which takes us to the 2-minute warning. What a great first half here in the Meadowlands with the Seahawks up by 3. The Nextel halftime is on deck. Jim and the gang have scores, highlights, and NFL news. All coming up next on the Nextel halftime report. Kevin Harlan, Craig James, Beasley Reese from beautiful Giant Stadium. 2nd down and 10. We've just reached the 2-minute warning. A couple timeouts for the Giants, a couple for Seattle. Outside the 40-yard line, Collins fires a bullet. The tackle made by Chad Brown on Joe Juravicius. It's a gain of 14 yards on the play. all the way to the Seattle 45 and a first down.
Man, a lot of screwy coverage scheme that was there. Anthony Simmons was on one side running across the field trying to take away the slant, and the Giants had the right call on.
Jurevicius has missed the last couple of games with the hamstring. First and 10 inside 46. Collins. Good time. Now scrambles. Chased by Cochran. Throws downfield. That is caught. Tumbling at the 31. Jurevicius again. A gain of 13 yards on the heels of a gain moments ago of 14 yards. Another Giant first down and a Giant timeout. They've got one left.
You know, Anthony Simmons, we've been talking about the way he can cover and deal with Tiki Barber. This is a real compliment. That's just smoking. And as a running back, he fooled Tiki Barber. A running back's got to know you can't let the guy get in your kitchen. You need to get him stacked. You need to have him trailing you. That time he didn't get out of his way.
Mike Holmgren, the coach of Seattle, called this game a sudden death game for the Seattle Seahawks. C has gotten a wild card berth with less than 10 wins.
These are the best two teams right here.
Seattle got in as a division champion a couple years ago at 9-7, but not as a wild card. There's one reach with 10 wins in the AFC. Twice it happened in the NFC in 91, Philadelphia and San Francisco. Giants have it first and 10 at the 32. Shotgun snap from Ziegler to Collins in the pass. Caught. Collins to Amani Toomer, diving inside the 16 to the 15-yard line. It's a gain of 17. So gains through the air of 14, 13, and now 17 yards by Kerry Collins.
They're picking on Miranda over here. He hasn't got good footing, and the Giants receivers have sure footing. They're used to this kind of carpet right now, and they're coming out of their breaks better.
First and 10 from the Seattle 15. One Giant timeout. Collins, pocket crumbles. A throw across the middle, incomplete. Kind of thrown in back of Tiki Barber. Almost uncatchable. Incomplete pass. Giants and Collins took over at their own 27 with 3:24 to play in this first half. Seventh play of the drive coming up.
We talk about the red zone efficiency. The Giants offense tied for 12th. The Seahawks defense a little lacking in this category here. Not good news for them right at this point.
Second down and 10 from the 15. And Collins fires, dropped again. Toomer this time. He dropped 3 last week. He drops one right there, and he points the fault. He did a lot of that pointing to himself last week against Arizona.
Yeah, but at some point, Fossil's going to tell him, look, I don't need this finger point. I appreciate you being a stand-up guy. Make the catch. They pick up the blitz. They get Miranda out there one-on-one. He slipped again. Toomer has the upper hand on this thing. And Kerry Collins, I asked him in the meeting yesterday, we did. I said, did you get frustrated last week with the 7 drops? He said, no, not at all. Not at all. You know, I just got to keep firing away.
Watch Ike Hilliard on third down. He's got 2 third-down receptions today. Third down and 10 from the Seattle 15. Now Hilliard on the move to the top of your screen. Collins downfield, throws short. Tiki Barber slipping on the turf. He's inside the 10, going down at the 9. And that's a gain of 6, and that is not a part of the new surface they put down this week. 2,000 individual trays of new grass were put in down the middle of the field and from the 30-yard line to each goal line. But that time he made the cut in the old part of the field.
And I bet you he cuts on his left foot when he slips. See that? When you cut with that inside foot, that left foot, you're just going to slide out from underneath yourself. Paul Miranda, the defensive back of Seattle, he couldn't deal with it. Beasley, you know, these guys, the defensive back, it's a hard deal for them to have to make an adjustment. The receivers usually know where they're going and better with it.
You know what, Craig, you're so right. See, the receiver knows the route. He can plan when to slow down, plan what foot to plant. And the DB is strictly reactionary, so he often has trouble. Now, the Giants are wearing the 3/4, almost a 1-inch cleat. That's the longest you can safely wear, and still Tiki Barber's falling down. This surface is absolutely horrible. Back to you.
And Bees, you and I know, I hated wearing extra long cleats because you don't want your leg to get hung up in that grass and blow a knee out.
Now for the tie, Morton Anderson, a 27-yard attempt. Seattle did their job holding New York onto the end zone. Now let's see what Anderson does. He now moves, and there is some movement down there. Flags on the field, and they blow up before it has a chance to start. It was 4th and 4.
False start. 77 offense.
Doesn't matter.
5-yard penalty. Remains 4th down.
Had that been on Seattle, a different set of circumstances, but now they mark it back. And it becomes a 32-yard field goal. Luke Pettigrew is guilty.
Yeah, old Pettigrew is getting his name called a couple times here. He's not in the right way either.
Morton Anderson owns 7 NFL records, 20 years in the league. A 32-yard try right here. Holding the backup quarterback, Jason Garrett. High snap, pulled down. Didn't bother Anderson at all. He nails it, and he ties the game at 17. Nice hold by Jason Garrett on the high snap by Jason Whittle.
Big Red, that's why they have him back there. Garrett, dependable, getting it down right spot.
Tonight on CBS, the only thing Professor Max Bickford loves more than teaching is inspiring his own kids. CBS invites you to see television at its best, the education of Max Bickford. That's tonight on CBS. Well, the Giants, after today, will take on the Philadelphia Eagles, who lose last night, and then Green Bay comes here to the Meadowlands.
And that'll be a good game. That's a testing game. They feel like here in New York, they have a perfect scenario in front of them. And I would say the way they're playing here is building off of last week's game-winning touchdown drive. Their offense is playing well. Their line is giving Collins enough time to throw, and they've been pretty diversified with it.
And Seattle, as you see, at San Diego and Kansas City. But Mike Holmgren said the whole season is right now. Game of the year. It's a playoff game for us.
Seattle building for the future, no question about that. And this is a real learning curve for them, having a must-win game in the month of December with so many young guys. They've not played well on the road. Mike Holmgren told us he didn't change anything with their routines, that he's the same as he's always been. They've just got to learn to get business like.
Hodgman's line drive kick on a bounce, picked up by former college quarterback Kerry Joseph, who is drilled by Peterson. William Peterson, the rookie. Flag is thrown, late hit on the play. Flag comes in late from the side as the ball was maneuvered up to the 43. I think there may have been some trickery for the Seattle Seahawks. Instead of putting Kerry Joseph back with Rodgers inside the 5, they put Fabian Bones back there, thinking maybe they had something in the works.
Unnecessary roughness. Number 59, defense. 15-yard penalty. First down.
Kevin Lewis.
Fossil's chewing him out because now look where they are on the field. You talk about the Giants' starting field position, it has been horrible. Conversely, Seattle's had excellent starting field position. And going in with 10 seconds, they got time to throw one ball, get down there, and try to attempt a field goal.
From the 42, with 10 seconds to play in the half. Hasselbeck 1st and 10. He's running. He's being chased by Strahan, who gets a sack. That's number 18. 3 seconds left. And the second Giant sack today. Timeout taken. Seattle had 1 timeout. Giants had 1 timeout. That's the last one, burned by the Seahawks.
Yeah, and you know what? Hasselbeck's dragging that left shoulder as he's carrying himself back over to the field. They have 2 blockers on Strahan. This is an effort sack. Strahan, did you see him close that gap? Seriously, I mean, that's incredible. Look at the way he closes the gap on Hasselbeck. And now Hasselbeck's not a speedster, but I guarantee he's pretty swift. And Beasley, you called him lumbering a while ago. He's no lumberer. This guy can move.
He does move. He does move beautifully. You know, when he came into our meeting, I was struck with how thin he looks, even though we know he's about 270, 280. Just a superior athlete.
Yeah, and I was talking earlier about how big his calves were. I mean, the guy is just, he works hard. He is committed. He's always smiling and enjoying himself, but he is wound up tight inside.
Well, he's got a touchdown today on a fumble recovery. And now a sack, so a pretty good first half by Strahan. And like Craig just said, he's got 2 guys on him every play. Now, 2nd and 17. Hasselbeck winds up and throws into the end zone. Sehorn knocks it away. Could have had the interception. Well, the lead went back and forth a couple times. And in a game with heavy playoff implications, Seattle and the Giants are tied at 17. And it began with 2 young, celebrated running backs. Ron Dane with a 31-yard touchdown run, Sean Alexander with a 29-yard touchdown run. Field goals, quarterback fumbles, both defenses returning them for touchdowns. We've had a lot of everything in this first half, which finds us tied at Giant Stadium.
All of us at KRQE News 13.
CBS Sports presents the Nextel Direct Connect Halftime Report. Nextel, get right through.
And welcome to the Nextel Halftime Report. Jim Nance from our Fifth Avenue studios. Mike Ditka, Randy Cross, Jerry Glanville chomping at the bit, ready to update you on
I got some highlights.
Scores. You got a lot of good
I got highlights.
Too. People will not be let down by you. I know that. 17 at all. 17-17 Seattle and the Giants.
Just about what we expected. We thought Sean Alexander would have a big day running the football, and he did. Took this one early. Cut off the left side, broke it outside.
Get your giddy up, though, Mike.
For a touchdown.
Giddy up.
I like this guy. I tell you what, the Giants hung in there. They got a touchdown from Dane, and then the defense went to work. Michael Barrow gets away, knocks the ball out of Hasselback's hands, picked up by Michael Strahan. He takes it.
Watch his lower shoulder. That shoulder.
Touchdown's good for 2 seconds. What's good for the goose is good for the gander. They come right back. Kerry Collins gets the ball. He's stripped by defensive tackle. Antonio Cochran.
John Randall.
Fell on the ball. About a goose for the gander.
San Diego and Kansas City are tied, but Todd Peterson, as we speak, is lining up for a field goal. 10:26 to go. They're in the third quarter. They're good rushing numbers on each side.
Well, Brees Holmes got the ball first and made things look.
Hey, that's a penalty.
Came back in most states.
He'll be fine.
But what the running game has done is it gave both quarterbacks an opportunity to throw short passes. Trent Green there to Dunn, sets up their touchdown, and Doug Flutie gets a nice quick pass to Freddie Jones for the Chargers. It's tough, it's physical, it's weather. It means late in the game it's going to be a big break.
And Peterson made that kick I spoke of, 33 yards out for the lead. Ravens have picked Kitna twice. Perhaps today they'll get that elusive first shutout of the season. They had 4 last year, their Super Bowl winning season. Jerry, here's your information time.
Oh, watch Spikes. Watch Spikes. He's after Shannon Sharp. Plays over, pushing ahead. Shannon Sharp gets up, talks about his mama. Yeah. Oh, they don't like each other. And here's a big sack. Ooh, I like that.
Darrell
Williams sacking Elvis. And here he is. We talked about him. Terry Allen. He's old. He's got bad knees, but he still runs like he's at Clemson. And this is picked off by your favorite linebacker, Ray Lewis. Pitch it, lateral it. Don't hang on to it. Should have given it to a fast guy.
It set up a Stover field goal on the last play of the first half, 13-0. Lions and the Steelers, and without the bus, they put up 27 in the first half. Cordell Sharp here today, Mike.
Talking about it in the pregame show, Cordell Stewart's going to burn this defense, and he has done it already for 2 days.
Vikings without Todd Baumann. He went out real early in this game, re-aggravating a thumb injury. Spurgeon Wynn has come in. He's played well, but Jacksonville's offense has not been stopped.
Well, Wynn was 11 of 12. That's why they have any yards, because early, right here off of Brackens, is why Todd Baumann's thumb went out. That's why Spurgeon Wynn came in the game. And then it came down to what Jerry talks about in the pregame show. Stacey Mack, take the pressure off Brunell. You do that, he can throw the ball down the field. But Spurgeon Wynn is comfortable. He's getting into the groove. And when you're a Viking quarterback, and you're getting into the groove, yeah, that's the groover right there.
Mike Ditka's favorite player.
Love him, hate him. Well, mostly hate him, but he's a heck of a talent.
Chicago, Leon Johnson scores their touchdown. Stephen Davis for the Redskins, 10 up, halftime. Saints.
You see the rushing numbers right there, Anthony Thomas. He had a good rush, but I tell you, Stephen Davis is running very well.
The Saint Brooks has been intercepted 3 times, 2 of them by Rondé Barber. New Orleans manages a meager 30 yards in the first half. Ricky Williams, 5 carries, 7 yards. It's embarrassing.
Fake the field goal, then fake the game.
And the Bills lead at Atlanta as the Falcons have lost 3 in a row. Van Pelt only 38 yards passing. Chandler, hot numbers, over 200, but he's been picked twice. Rams, Kroll catching one from Warner. Falk run it from 4 yards out. They also scored on a botched field goal try by the Carolina Panthers. Ran it back the other way. All right, our doubleheader game today. Green Bay looks to qualify for the playoffs. They're in if they win against the Browns. And for more on that matchup, here are the men who will call the action for you from Lambeau Field. Dick Enberg and Dan Deerdorf.
Jim, here in Green Bay, winter has arrived, but the coals are hot and the bratwursts are on the grill. Cleveland Browns are young and enthusiastic. They lead the NFL with 29 interceptions. They're going to try to throw ice, Dan, on the Green Bay playoff party.
And they're going to hope to dump that ice directly onto the shoulders of Brett Favre, because he is the heart and soul of the Green Bay Packers. 3 times the MVP, and Dick, I think having a season that may qualify him for a 4th. And does he love it here in December at home? Look at these numbers. numbers, 40 touchdown passes, an 18-2 record here at Lambeau in December. Pretty gaudy.
Hall of Fame credentials.
Well, and absolutely, Dick, because there's no question he's going to be there. And today making his 155th consecutive start. Astounding.
Well, there's a reason to go to golf to see Tiger Woods or Wayne Gretzky and hockey or Michael Jordan. You know, there's really a reason, even if you're not a Packer or Browns fan, just to come and see Favre.
I could not agree with you more. And for the Cleveland Browns, offensively, not much there. Defensively, they'll have to intercept Brett if they hope to win.
Always a party in Green Bay. Happy holidays to all of you in New York.
Thank you very much. Dick and Dan, look forward to their call. It's our doubleheader game later today on CBS. Thanks for being with us on the Nextel Halftime Report.
CBS Sports presents the Nextel Direct Connect Halftime Report. Nextel, get right through. CBS.